Welcome to the Firefighters Podcast. I'm Richard Moo, my co-host beside me, Pete Wakefield, and today we have a truly inspirational guest, Paralympian, Judo black belt, and an old friend of mine, and all-round nice guy, Dan Powell. Dan, how are we today?
I'm all right, thanks. Thanks for inviting us on.
Jeez, that's a nice intro. I don't get that nice. I mean, all-round nice guy.
You've got to try, haven't you? I mean,
setting you up here, brother. You better be interested.
He's busting me up. He'll want me to do some coaching at the end of the day. Or
Absolutely, no doubt.
Just watch your legs under the table. So, Dan, what's it like, first of all, being back in 360 MMA? This is where our relationship was formed, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's great. It's good to see, how things have changed as well. Bigger mat space, things like that. Like, mat space for me, that's the main thing with my sport, being in judo, and hopefully have a bit of a roll on here at some point in the near future.
Well, we're actually rolling tomorrow, aren't we? We're meeting tomorrow, first time in a long time. Have a little bit of a grapple.
Yeah,
this dude's coming down tomorrow.
Yeah. Pete's joining us as well.
I'm going to come down for a play. I'm beyond a newbie. I love that Rich likes introducing me to some of his really, really talented friends. And me, the big, strong, blooming 16, 18 stone, whatever guy, just getting smashed up, just to prove that it doesn't matter how big and strong you are.
It's you know what it's like in martial arts. It's predominantly techers. You need your techers as well as you need to be fit and strong as well.
I know nothing about martial arts, literally nothing. That's sort of the beauty of our
relationship.
Speaking about martial arts, obviously lockdown's happening, been pretty crap for many. You had a massive, massive competition that's been postponed. Tokyo 2020.
Yeah.
Talk to us about that.
It's a bit of a mad time at the minute. Like, I was fighting out in Georgia at the beginning of the year, beginning of March, and then we came back from Georgia. I was still, I made me weight, fought in Georgia. Was doing really well. I had about 3 days back in the UK where, I was still maintaining weight to go out and fight in Tokyo for a Grand Slam out there. And then, unfortunately, during them 3 days, it was like, Bojo came out with all his new rules and that. So it was like,
I like it.
It was a little bit like, hang on, do I eat a cake or do I keep stripping to, fight this fight sort of thing? So it was a bit of a difficult one, to be honest, because it was just everything was so up in the air. And then, post that, we had one of the biggest competitions of the year coming up in Nottingham. Actually, we fly all around the world, and then. One of the big ones is in Nottingham for the first time, and that would have been the first time I'd fought properly at that level.
What competition's that?
It was the Nottingham Grand Slam, which was actually the last world ranking event going into the games this year.
Wow. Okay.
So it was the last chance to pick up valuable world ranking points, to get you up into a good seeded position.
Now, I'm going to position myself, rightfully so, as the idiot that knows nothing about martial arts. So you guys are banging out lots of terminology, so I'm just going to keep jumping in for everybody else's benefit. The point system. Now, I don't know anything about it, so I thought if you're good enough, you get selected for an Olympic team and then you just go, or do you have to accumulate points through the year to be selected, or how does it work to get on a team like that? I don't.
Yeah, so when I was fighting in London 2012, for example, I was basically just the highest ranked individual in my weight at that point. So they were like, give you the nod.
That's number one. Is that right?
That's right.
You are number one ranked judo for your weight in the UK currently.
Yeah, that's it.
Jesus.
So, but then as I say, like in London 2012, it was less of a task, to be honest, because you're on home soil.
Okay.
You don't have to be, you could be world ranked number 60, and as long as you're number one in the country.
Okay.
You're going at the end of the day.
Yeah. What are the UK like in terms of world standing? So if I said, oh yeah, I'm best in the UK, would there still be like 50 guys or girls in wherever? What are we like in terms of skill sets? Because judo's been around in the UK for
a long time.
A long time. It's not like it's a new sport, but it didn't originate here.
No, the thing is, it originated in Japan, and Japan have got a conveyor belt of world champions coming out. I'll be honest, like I had the pleasure. I had the pleasure to go over and train in Japan for 3 weeks last year.
Wow!
And oh Jesus Christ, that was a whole new level.
How does it compare to training over here?
So say, for example, over here, you might have, say, 10 5-minute fights, with 5 minutes in between each fight, just as a sparring session.
Yep.
Over there, they're kicking out 25 8-minute fights. And I'm talking no rest in between. Like,
really?
You know, even the coach has just sat down. He set up a buzzer in the corner.
Yeah.
And next thing, there's just havoc, you know, on the mat. And
they just rotate through partner after partner after partner.
Ding, ding. There was one session as well, like that we went to. You know, there was me. There was only 2 other British lads and our coach. So we turned up to this session at this university. You know, when like it was basically underground. It was weird, this dojo.
Yeah.
So we went underground. This, you know, 35, 40 degree dojo. You walk in, you're sweating.
I love that, because that's such a conditioning thing as well. You can't fake that. It's a little bit like when people train at altitude.
Yeah.
You can't fake it, and you create an environment like that when the body's under so much stress.
That's it.
And that's their norm. That's their norm for conditioning. It's awesome.
We literally walked in as well, and you know, this 50 Japanese players on the mat, all blokes, literally just turned around and looked at us. And my coach just like stopped us. As I say, there's only me and 2 other lads, and he just stopped us and went, "It's going off today, lads."
It's going off.
Yeah, it's like Fight Club. It's like
did anybody's arse
club
just completely drop out, or was
yeah.
everybody like, did that G you up, or does that sort of thing make you feel like I'm out my depth?
To me personally, I'm probably the most natural fighter, like, you know, in our squad sort of thing. You know, so I love it. And my coach loves it as well. He loves seeing me have a kick off on the mat.
Yeah, and you're up for a scrap sort of thing.
Yeah, we're like, you know, some of the other lads are like a bit more, say, technical and, you know, want to sort of like...
Could that be anything to do with you being a Scouse, Stan?
You know what? That's come up a number of times, to be fair, yeah. I think it is. You know, it's the way you get brought up, you know, brought up with an older brother as well. And, you know, my dad was in judo as well. So I suppose it's just...
Your brother, what's your brother's name?
Mark.
Mark also competes as well, didn't he? Or used to compete?
He did, yeah. So, like, you know, Mark competed in London 2012 as well. He was the...
Really?
Yeah.
So both... Jesus, right. Both at that level then.
That's
wow.
it. And my dad's a 3-time... medalist at the games himself.
So there's a nature nurture conversation we're going to have in a minute. We'll have a conversation about that. But go on, your brother was at 2012 as well.
Yeah, so you know, like he competed. You know, he did what he needs to do. He was the weight group lower than me.
Yeah.
You know, he did all right. He had a really bad draw on the day, to be fair. But,
okay.
What's interesting? Your brother's probably going to listen to this. And who's better, you or your brother?
You had to go there, didn't you? You know what? Me and my brother only had to fight twice, and I won both. So
older or younger brother?
Older.
Older brother.
I'm just going to let the stats do the talking. You know?
I bet that never comes up in conversation, does it?
Not much.
The scoreboard doesn't lie at the end of the day, doesn't it? Doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning.
Saying that, he holds me to the very last time we did a sparring session together. He literally banged me over on the buzzer. And just walked away. And he actually retired after that. You know, he's like retired at the top sort of thing. I'm done. So
now with you just mentioned that word retirement. We spoke off audio, I think, yesterday on the phone. You was going to do Tokyo this year, and you was actually thinking of retiring. That was going to be your last competition.
Yeah, that's right.
But now this is postponed. You're going to be a year older. Do you think that's going to affect anything in regards to your level?
I don't think so. I think, you know, obviously a lot of people look at it like, I've got another year to train and this, that, and the other. You know, I'm just priming myself now. I'm ready to go. It was me now. It was all about, you know, just basically get out there, and, you know, just do what you need to do. And I was counting down the Monday mornings.
Really?
I was counting down you know, there's 27 Monday mornings left, and I was thinking, right, I'm having this. I can do this. I can do 27 odd more weeks of killing myself, battering my body, and then compete at the highest level. But now it's like, you know, it's 79. You know,
you've already calculated the reset.
So
how long have you been competing for? Because Rich, you know, you guys just mentioned retirement there. I'm looking at you now, Dan. I'm thinking you're a pretty young guy by most people's standards. How old are you now?
I'm 29.
29. I mean, crikey. What do you think is a standard career length for somebody in your discipline?
Yeah.
Or is it career, or is it age, you know?
I suppose, like, especially at my weight group as well, you know, you're talking some players go on till, you know, mid-30s, you know, something like that, which, I'll be honest with you, seems like pushing this cycle back a year.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the next Olympiad is only 3 years long. And I'm thinking already in the back of my head, could I do 3 years? I might be able to do 3 years. Not like, you know, like a year. 4 years is massive for me, and I kind of see
huge, isn't it?
Well, I see me life in 4 year cycles now.
Yeah.
You know,
I really feel for Olympians when you treat it in that way, because there's no other way to treat it. But I think, crikey, you just said it yourself, 4 years is just ridiculous. You know, it's just, how do you feel that? How do you hold that competitive edge? I mean, I know you do your world championships perhaps every year, but in your level of importance, to you, is the Olympics the best of the best, or is it just something you make room for every 4 years, and actually you're going after the World Championships every year? How do you sort of what are you aiming for? Do you always aim for the Olympics? Is that what you build it around?
Kinda, yeah. Like in my head, especially, like I only went back into judo about 2 years ago because I was doing athletics.
Okay.
So I only went back into judo in about very early 2018.
Yeah.
And mid 2018, I absolutely smashed my knee to bits. You know, I needed to get my knee put back together.
I can see. Is it your left knee?
It is, yeah.
I can see some scars.
Yeah. So,
what happened to it? Just on a
basically, I completely ruptured my MCL and tore my cartilage. And it was just such. It was actually 2 years to the day I did it. I shared it on Facebook today. You know, and it was one of them things. It was just like, oh, I think I've hurt my knee there, and then carried on fighting. Went to kneel up at the end, you know, to bow off at the end of the practice, and I was like, I can't kneel up here. And then the next day, I was sat in Weatherspoons trying to medicinally.
So bloody demoralising. Have you had many big injuries?
I had a shoulder reconstruction when I was 19. I've had my knee.
Was that sort of judo related?
Judo, yeah. Broke
You're making me nervous about tomorrow, to be honest.
You know, to be honest, all the groundwork, like what we're going to do.
We're not playing judo with Dan.
No, good. Let's just clarify that.
Well, it was great, actually. When I first started coming down here, none of the lads really knew what level I was competing at.
Yeah.
And, you know, you had the odd lad turn around and be like, yeah, I'll do some stand-up with you. And I'd be like, brilliant. There we go. You know, so it'd be like, you know, you'd be giving out free flying lessons, you know, with every
just bear in mind tomorrow, just sort of treat me, I know I'm older than you and I'm a little bit bigger, but treat me a little bit like a Labrador, you know. They come and play with big dogs and they think it's fun, but I don't want to get bitten, you know. I don't want you to turn around and just whack, there goes the knee, there goes the shoulder.
I'll tell you what, Pete, with all the martial arts, you got your boxing, your kickboxing, you got all sorts, but with judo, there's nothing like it. When you get thrown and you are upside down about 6 foot in the air and you can see the ground underneath you, it's not a pleasant experience. No.
I'm not saying it's going to be.
Like, you know, some people refer to it as gymnastics in pyjamas. You know, a lot of the trouble with judo, I think, is knowing where the floor is when you're not stood on it.
Yes.
You know, and it's like, right, if I land on my back, I'm done. You know, point system says I'm done.
Okay.
You know? But however, if I can land on my side or even my front,
really,
you know,
is
by
that how it goes?
twisting when I'm in midair, then, you know, I'm all right. I can hit the floor and then just start.
Now, I will put my hand up and say I literally did a little bit of judo with somebody about 3 years ago, and the big takeaway from me was how heavy I didn't realise my head was. And what I mean by that is, because one of the first things the guy spent like 10 minutes going through the beginning with me was just falling on your back. Yeah. Just constantly fall on your back and try and stop your head, going straight back and jarring it. Because after like 15 minutes, I woke up the next day, Jesus, the muscles in the front of my neck. Oh my God.
Muscles like, you may never have used. This is ridiculous.
No, you know, I've been deadlifting, squatting all my life, but I'm like, oh my God, how weak is my neck? Do you know what I mean? It's those, when you speak about conditioning, that sort of thing.
It's, you know, one of the main things is that, you know, it's such high impact. I know, for example, you know, other striker martial arts, you know, you have that impact in quite sort of a concentrated area. Yeah. But, you know, with judo, you are just getting absolutely rattled onto the floor. Yeah. You know, and it's just like,
I think judo probably is one of the hardest of the martial arts, because I've got a lot of friends who do judo and judo at a high level, but it tends to be the judo guys who have got the most injuries when they sort of get into the mid-30s.
Knees, shoulders.
Knees and shoulders,
things like that.
Seems to be the judo guys. But they do take a lot of hammer. They're all smashing each other onto the floor, aren't they, quite a lot?
Definitely. I think it's, when you look at, just to look at it from sort of the physiology of it, when you strike and stuff like that, it's blunt trauma at short distances. But when you see somebody throw it at somebody, the sheer kinetics of when they flip, do you know what I mean? And when the furthest extremity hits the ground, like their foot or their ankle or their knee hits the ground, where that is from the sort of force that's being created, the force that hits at that point, you know, and I know people punch hard, people kick hard, but when I punch you, I'm creating force from a very short distance. But there's a whole wraparound, you know, judo people keep spinning and flipping. And like you say, when they land, it just sounds
And then don't forget, whoever you're competing with, I mean, how heavy are you, Pete?
I'm 17 stone now.
So 17 stone. So imagine someone's just thrown you, you just smashed on the floor, and then you've got another 17 stone coming down and crushing you on top.
seems unnecessary.
When you're looking at someone like the open weight guys who are fighting, you're talking. There's one guy from Japan who we actually refer to him as Mount Fuji. This guy is like 100 and he must be close to 200 kilos to be fair.
No.
He's top end 100 kilo, and he's still got some techers.
Jesus.
It's like you look at him, you think, how's he just done that? Like at that size, you know what I mean?
28, 29 stone. Christ.
Yeah, and he's bouncing people and then
Can't be anybody for him to compete against, surely. What are the weight classes in judo?
So you've got like the little guys at like under 60, and then it goes up by 10% increments each time. So I fight at under 81. I diet down from about 80, 87, something like that. I just cut down to 81. But then the next one up's 90s. Hundreds and then plus hundreds.
Yeah.
So
anything 100 plus.
Yeah.
You see that, and I think
You'll
that's
be
the
in
same.
trouble there, Pete. I think
That's the same in a lot of sports.
Nearly all of them,
anything over that, and in other sports, I know it's super heavyweight. Anything over 100 kilos super, and you're like, 100 kilos isn't that much. It's only 16,
yourself,
17 kilos. Yeah, but it is. But then when you're against somebody that's 28 stone, you're like, well, hang on a minute. There's 6 kilos difference between him and him. There's 40 kilo difference between me and him. There's a whole bloody person there.
100%, yeah. The thing is, to be fair, it's like, and each weight group has their different sort of attributes and stuff.
Yeah.
Like 81 kilos, it's the most competitive, like this, probably me being a bit biased here. It's the most competitive group, like, in men's judo. Because it's probably the biggest average, and at the same time,
I think you're right.
Yeah, you've got all the technical elements of judo in there, from like the lower weights and the speed and that element. But also with 81 kilos, you still got some bloody strong lads as well.
Yeah.
So you've got to like kind of mix your training where like the 60 kilo lads are pretty nippy, quick, and that side of things, and then you've got your completely other end where you just got to be massive and strong.
I completely agree with you, because I think most people, we talk about UK males, walk around at around 6 foot. As soon as somebody at around 6 foot or a little bit less starts to put a little bit of muscle on, because they're like, if I'm going to compete in judo or another sport, I'm going to put a little bit of muscle on, they probably will end up around that weight. A physically healthy male in the UK around that weight will be 70, 80 kilos. So I imagine the amount of people at that weight are some really, really strong weapons as well, because like you say, they're not tiny, skinny guys. They've started to develop a bit of explosive muscle mass, but they've not gotten so big that they've gotten slow.
Well, we've got a
so
lad
it's that
at the
dangerous,
minute.
technical, strong.
Yeah, we've got a lad at the centre at the minute. He's 20 years old, so he's like nearly 10 years younger than me.
Yeah.
You're joking? 10 years?
Coming from you.
Stop for a second. It is Richard's birthday today.
Yeah,
so
that's why.
Happy birthday, Rich.
Cheers, my man.
But yeah, so this lad's 10 years younger than me. He's fights at the same weight as me.
Yeah.
I seen him on Instagram bench 170 odd kilos the other day. And I'm just like, what?
At 80 kilos?
At 80 kilos, 81 kilos, yeah. So, and he said to me, to be fair,
there's something going on there. From my experiences in certain things, there's something going on there.
All he's on is Yorkshire tea. That's all he's on.
That's all I was on as well.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
So
Yorkshire tea.
we spoke about your weight class. Now a lot of people watch UFC, so a lot of people can relate to those weight classes. So in regards to UFC weight rankings, what would you be, a middleweight or welterweight?
I think middleweight.
Middleweight.
Is it 80?
Under 84, I believe.
84. Yeah. Well, yeah. I
Under
reckon I could probably cut
welterweight
that, to be
over
fair.
70s, under 77, over 77.
Oh, I'm not getting there.
I'm not sure now.
Nah,
I brought it up and I can't even remember.
I'm, when I get to about 80, I'm about 81 kilos for about 5 minutes a year, because I'll just like sit around 81.2. I'll walk down into the the weigh-in sort of area, which is pretty similar, to be fair, than like most sports. And like you get in, strip down, get on the scales, boom, 81 on the dot.
Yeah.
Refuel.
So how do you weigh in judo? Is it the day before or is it on the day?
It's nowadays it's the night before. Yeah. So you've got about 12 hours from weigh-in to fight time.
Is there any sports that do it on the day anymore?
I
think that's quite dangerous.
It's mainly your amateur levels, but saying that a lot of amateur promotions now are going, they're moving forward, and they're also doing day before weigh-ins as well.
Because rightly or wrongly, from again my very limited experience, some people can have some very varied, and we spoke about it before on the show, some varied and sometimes dangerous approaches to making weight. And I think there's probably a lot of lessons to be learned that if you were to force somebody to weigh on the day and then put them in a physical battle, you might have some really nasty ramifications. Because I think that window of 12 or 18 hours between weigh-in and competition is, I imagine, a massively crucial period of time. What do you tend to do between your weigh-in and getting in the ring?
Well, like straight after weigh-in, I've always got like 2-litre bottle of water with some electrolytes in it, and I'll bang this out. It's like it's a flapjack, and I can only get it in Home Bargains.
Really?
And
it has to be a specific one.
It's got to be, yeah. It's like my little routine now, and everyone's got their routine on fight day and prep and all that. It's a brick of flapjack, this thing, and it's so dense. It's like 500 calories worth of flapjack, and I'll just bang that down some water, and then I'll chill out there and have my tea as normal, and try not to get too bloated and things like that. But nowadays in judo, it's a really, really good thing, it's the fact that they have a 5% random weigh-in the next day. So
really? So they do weigh some people on the day?
About an hour before weigh-in, you've got that 5% fluctuation. So I've got to fight at 81 kilos, so I've got to get on the scales at 81 kilos. However, the next morning, I can weigh up to 85, because I'll have that, or 85 point something, because I'll have that little sort of to play with. So
why does it matter if you've come up? That's a stupid question, but try and hear me for what I mean. Yeah. Why does it matter? You've not put on any bloody muscle in 12 hours, have you? It doesn't matter. If you put on too much weight, honestly, that's probably bad for you. Yeah, so it's not helping you. You're going to be slow because you've only drank water and eaten food in them 18 hours, and that you're carrying that into the ring. So if you're overweight, that's on you, brother.
It's more the other way, to be honest. So like you're stopping people from cutting down from 95 kilos to 81.
Oh,
so
right,
like
okay.
the next day, then people who are naturally walking around at 90 kilos,
right?
If they've put on 6 kilos overnight, that'll show.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like where say with us lot, I must admit I get right up until that 5%. I've got to reweigh myself in the morning because I'm thinking I might have to sweat down here.
But, let's take it back to the beginning, Dan. So we've spoke about you being on this level, high elite judo player. Your dad, your brother, all judo family. Was you pushed into it at the beginning, or was it just a natural? How did it all come about? How did you start? Why did you start?
Yeah, I suppose when I was younger, my dad had a little club. He had a little judo club that I used to go down with, and do bits and bobs. Just learn judo like all the kids that were there, sort of thing. But then, when I was like 14. That was when I started when I was about 11, and then when I was about 14, I don't know what it's like around here, but in Liverpool you start drinking Lambrini and running around the park.
Yeah. And the Alka Pops, Bacardi Breezers,
hula hooch. So
wicked.
That's it. So I was drinking Lambrini and running, chasing around after girls, like so, and then I sort of got back into it by mistake when I was like 18. So when I was 18, there was like this. Bit of a sort of, come and try judo day sort of thing. And I thought, I quite like this. And then it only took from between 18 and 21. And then I was competing at the games. And it was like, it was an absolute whirlwind.
3 years, Jesus.
But the coach who got hold of me.
Yeah.
What was his name?
His name is John Paul Bell. However, I'm not friends with him anymore. I was going to swear then, but I don't know what this podcast was. But anyway,
it didn't end well. Anyway,
nah. But
once upon a time,
yeah, he was all right. Yeah,
all right.
He was sound. And the thing is, to be fair, he didn't try and teach me judo. That was the main thing.
Okay.
He didn't try and technically make me the best player. All he did was teach me how to fight. And that was the best thing, but all within the sort of parameters and the rules of the sport.
Yeah.
Not run in and just go wham and just try and hit someone. It was more like right. We need to teach you how to fight. We need to teach you how to stay in a fight.
Yeah.
Not get thrown straight away, not lose straight away.
Okay.
Because you could in judo, if you walk out, get thrown on your back in 5 seconds, it's like getting knocked out in boxing. So.
And I imagine that's so goddamn frustrating.
Oh, 100%, especially when you've made your weight.
Yeah, I think of judo a little bit like chess, and again, I know nothing about it, but. In boxing, if somebody's just that much of a fantastic hitter and they're just going to knock you out and that's it.
Yeah.
But in judo, if you just do something stupid, you get flipped. You may or may not be hurt. I imagine it hurt a little bit, but you've been thrown a million times, so it doesn't hurt too much. You just stand there and go, Jesus Christ, I bloody saw it. I saw it as he was doing it.
Yeah, 100%. I fought some lad, he's this lad from Uzbekistan. He's world ranked number 2 at the minute. And I fought this lad over in Uzbekistan late last year. And he threw me actually, and I just came off the mat, and I went to my coach. I was like, "What do we do with that?
What was that?
What are you meant to do with that? You know what I mean? It's just like because some fights you come off. You might be, you might have had like I had a 15-minute scrap with some Russian guy at the same day, and it was to go through into the bronze match. I was fighting this lad, and I knew I was better than him, and this fight was going on and on. He's probably drugged up or something, but he had just had more energy than me in the end. But I was just like having this lad, and then next thing he just caught me, and I came off, and I'm so frustrated, and I'm like, booting over like railings and everything. But then and then I fight this Uzbeki lad, and I'm just like, fair play. He's just caught me there. So, but yeah, you're right. It is like chess.
What are the splits like in a judo fight? Because I'm talking for anybody that's never watched one, because it has been an Olympic sport probably since the bloody origin. I know it's one of the staples of martial arts in Olympics. But you see boxing, and people kind of get boxing because they see a lot of it.
Yeah.
A couple of minutes, then they have a break. A couple of minutes, then they have a break, and you have that opportunity for a little bit of coaching, a little bit one-to-one with the athlete. Is judo the same in that respect, or because you say you fight straight? 15 minutes is a bloody long time. To be doing it, because people say, football's X minutes long, rugby's this minutes long. But even some fighting that I've done with Rich, fight training is unlike anything else, and especially something like judo. There's no real standoff. This person is on you. They're on you constantly. So it's not like I'll jog around this bit of patch of grass waiting for something to come into my area.
Exactly.
No, they're on you non-stop. 15 minutes.
Like when I don't know if you've ever ran like a 5 or 10K, and you just lock into
what
a
are you on
pace.
about? Look at me. Of course I bloody have. Jesus. You've probably not done any running, Pete, but
you know what I mean? No, you just like you lock into a pace, and you're just like and by the end you might pick it up a little bit, and your lungs start hurting and whatnot. And you get home, boom, done. On a judo fight, you're attached to this man who's trying to rip your head off.
Yeah.
And if it goes 5 minutes and no one's scored, then the stopwatch just gets like put to one side. And
really?
It's just like, right,
way.
Golden score. It's like, whoever's going to dump someone on the back first or strangle someone.
See, that's great though, because then it gets away from the whole. I'm just going to wait this out. I'm just going to. No.
Yeah, and to be fair, like one of my biggest attributes is the fact that I'm fitter than most of these guys. So it goes into golden score, and I've got a smile on my face, and I'm like, here we go. I've survived 5 minutes with you. You're getting it now.
You know what? I've had that in a couple of things, because even though doing some of the strength stuff in the past, I was never the strongest. I didn't get to be the best in the UK or anything like that. But it was that conditioning aspect. And you just said there, I love it. You can't fake fitness.
No.
So if you don't develop a fantastic grounding in physical conditioning, nothing else, you can't out-skill that.
That's it.
To a certain extent, you're okay. But then when somebody develops a little bit, and they've got that physical conditioning, you just can't fake it.
No,
you just can't fake it.
You look at all these guys, like on the world circuit for me, and you think, he's got. I tell you what, he's explosive, and you look at him and like, oh bloody hell, he's got some good judo. But then like these guys must look at me and think, I need to dump him in the first 3 minutes.
I need to hurt him, otherwise he's not going to outlast him.
No.
I used to do, even down in grassroots level with certain sports, whenever I'd coach a little bit of field hockey, or even basketball, football, simple stuff. When I was doing it with kids, 30-40% of the session would be skills-based. But the rest of it is fitness.
Yeah,
60-70% we'd be doing run drills, we'd be doing fitness drills. Because then when you go and you watch the kids in their five-a-side football or the little basketball game, the kids on my teams, they're running non-stop. You know what I mean? And they'll have that one good kid who shoots a couple of three-pointers or got some great skills on the ball. But 30, 40, 50 minutes into the game, they're all blowing out their arse. Whereas our guys just keep going and going and going, and then it's just a walk in the park.
Well, that's why, like martial arts, like judo, or like, all the martial arts like you do here as well. It's like, it's such a good base for kids as well. It's not just, learning how to smack someone, or learning how to throw someone. It's having that, like, I've got a little boy now who's 1, and I
Congratulations.
I can't wait to get him either into martial arts or gymnastics.
I can't wait to start beating up my
kid. It's the best thing for kids, isn't it? Martial arts.
Do you know what those?
As you know,
they do it naturally.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? It's very few kids will naturally wander over, I think, and just hold me for a minute and say, I want to play with that ball over there, I'll play with this. You took 2 kids together, one of the first things that's going to happen in the first 10 minutes, one of them's got hold of the other one, and before you know it, whether they want to define it as that or not, they are wrestling, they are grappling, they are doing judo, they're hitting, they're punching, they're kicking.
Yeah.
It's so primitive.
It's a natural human instinct, isn't it?
Do you know what I mean? They don't pick up an implement and go, let's play with this. They go, let's play with each other first. Then when we get bored of that, we'll go and see what else is knocking about.
Totally.
So, Dan, we spoke, like, you compete in, we spoke about how it all started, but you are a Paralympian. So, for people who don't know you, what makes you a Paralympian?
Yeah, so I'm basically I'm Visually impaired. I've been registered blind since I was 10. You know, and not a lot of people would know that.
I didn't know that. Oh, well, absolutely. I
go.
knew you were a Paralympian because
Yeah.
Richard said, "Oh, you know, just going to."
I've got one leg as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going for. When you walked in, I was like, "Which limb is it? Which arm? Which limb?" Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah, well, you know, that's the thing. You know, it's just so growing up. You know, my dad, he's visually impaired as well.
is he really?
Yeah, but you know, he always taught me and my brother is.
Is he really?
Yeah. So
Shit, sorry, I'm not sounding like I'm being stupid there, but
no, it's
that's
all right.
ridiculous. So
It's
it must
just-
be a genetic thing,
It
obviously.
is totally, yeah. So, but you know, basically, like growing up, like with the attitude of my dad, it was like, you know, right, you're going to mainstream school, you know, you're doing mainstream things, like stop crying about it, get on with it, you know, and stuff like that. And that's, you know, my dad was hard at us at times, like, you know, he was, but at the same time, it's made me and my brother into the people we are today. And you know, we
absolutely
have like, there's so many people out there, like me and my brother. We fit in with mainstream society and we give it a go. We give everything a go, be it, you know, trying to travel around to, you know, just joining in sports, you know, whatever. But then, like, you know, there's so many people out there who sit at home and think they're so hard done by. And I'm not just talking disabled people.
They'll use it as a badge.
100%.
Do you know what I mean? They'll go, "Oh no, I can't. I'm diabetic.
Right.
You know, I can't see. I've got one leg." But you get that many people come back from, you know, trips abroad, or sorry, our military personnel have been abroad who were perhaps perfectly capable and physically able to start with, and have lost a leg or lost an arm or had something horrific happen to them, yet they can still come back and achieve so much more. And individuals such as yourself who have come on to operate on a world stage really set the example that it's just a choice. Yes, it may limit you slightly, but it doesn't make things impossible. It just makes it harder.
What made me smile then, you says, you give anything a go. 2018, Dan. Ninja Warrior.
Oh God, yeah, that was good fun.
Televised
You've been on
event,
Ninja Warrior?
Yeah.
Oh,
man! You know what? It was such
Yes.
good fun. It was great. It was, you know,
We're
basically.
gonna have to get that up. We're gonna have to
Get it on YouTube. It's on YouTube.
I found out on the Monday that by the Wednesday I was going on Ninja Warrior, and I hadn't applied for it or nothing. It was through my.
This is why I brought this glove. The Ninja Warrior.
I love it.
You know, it was, but it was great. It was really good fun. But at the same time, you know, I had all the ITV production lot, and they were just like, you know, right, what do we need to do so you can see it? And I was just like, can you turn all the lights off in here? And they were
Turn
like,
all the lights off?
No, yeah, because I can't see. I can't. When any bright lights on top is like a knock-off for me. When it's a bright sunny day, I'm done.
Really?
Game over for me. Yeah.
Wow.
But I'm so photosensitive, it's unreal.
So on a good day, perfect conditions for you. What is your vision like?
Cloudy day. Yeah.
Nice cloudy day.
No, it's sad.
It's that intense light.
What can you see? Is it?
I've got
colours,
no
shapes.
Yeah, I've got no central sight at all. So like doctors have put it that you know you've got 3% of your functional sight left.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, you know, the reason behind like sort of when it's a bright sunny day, because my peripheral is, you know, not brilliant, but you know it's the better part.
Okay.
You know, because all the light's coming in from there, I'm like, Jesus, you know what I mean? It's a bit bright. But,
So is it the direct sort of down the barrel of the gun that you struggle most with?
Yeah,
your
can't
vision?
see nothing down the middle.
Which when you're in a contact sport, when you're in a fighting thing, you know, I mean, I'm sure people swing from the side, but everything's coming at you. It's coming at you here, isn't it?
That's why judo and grappling is so good, especially because it's all feel, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's all feel.
100%.
I imagine you could, as you say, that you could close your eyes and get the feel for somebody's body and how their weight balance is.
That's like, because I do a bit of coaching as well, especially when it comes to like grappling and judo and things like that, and I try and teach people and like just try and feel it, because you see people and they're so tense, you know, because they know they're either going to get thrown or they're going to try
any
and
second
throw
now
someone.
they're like, it's going to happen.
Yeah,
it's going to happen in a minute.
But then, you know, I'm like, like when I'm scrapping or doing anything, like, you know, even if like you know, I've done a little bit of sort of like MMA as well in the past, so I'm just like relaxed, because you know you just got to feel it.
You know what? I want to jump off on a tangent just because I wrote this down earlier when you were talking, because I read a book a long time ago. It's a guy by Josh Waitzkin called The Art of Learning. Don't know if you've ever heard of it. He was a really high-level chess player. He was a grandmaster, one of the youngest ones that ever was. And then he went on, and I forget which sport he got into. Was it Tai Chi or something? Let me have a quick look at it now. Yeah, it was Tai Chi. And he speaks very much about that, put the push competition. I'm going to look at push competitions, and I'm hoping you guys are going to correct me. When they effectively just stand and they get their stance. And it's an element of judo, I think, where you feel the opponent move, and they talk about it being like water and being like it's all about energy. And if you hold up, you can't feel your partner. If you just tense, you can't feel them move against you. So you can't use or off balance any of their energy because you're too tense.
I've fought a lot of opponents before when, like, you know, you get hold of them and they're like so angular in their arms and they're stuck like that. And for me, that's brilliant because I'm like, you're using energy there. You know, and I'm just like, you know, loosey-goosey sort of thing. I've got hold of them. And I've got quite long. I'm like Mr. Tickle. You know, I'm just like, I'll just have hold of them, and I'm just a bit like, that's all right for me. Where like these people are like, what? I've got hold of you. And then, but that's what I mean. By 3 minutes, they're done. They're like game over.
Because also they must be using, you know, whatever 50-60% of their potential strength just being there. So they've got less transition from that to explosion. Whereas you're full loosey goosey at like 10-15%, and then you go bang straight to 100%, and that's where that explosion, your sudden change of position and your quick change of movement.
If someone's got you statically, you can feel how they're moving any way they go, you know, because they're going like that or like that or straight. You know, like,
they're playing half their cards already, 100%. And you're already seeing a lot of the stuff. Yeah.
So, you know, I remember years and years ago, so a judo player turned around to me and said, "Oh, he's horrible. Him. He's like fighting one of them guys who you can't feel him holding your jacket." And that's what I try and go for.
It must be a great pickpocket as well, then.
Was that because I'm a Scouser?
There's no need for that.
Yeah. No
Rich
need.
did say to me, he said, Dan will be here in a minute. Stick your keys somewhere else.
Empty pocket.
No need. No need.
When was the last time you went back to Liverpool? You been recently?
No, I've not been for ages.
Mate,
about a year ago.
Do you know what I missed this year? Absolutely gutted. Grand National.
Oh,
Grand National. Been 3 years in a row now. Absolutely love it. And the cancelled it, didn't they, because of the virus?
It's good. It's good National Day. That and the fact that, you know, this was going to be the first year Liverpool were going to win the league since I've been alive. You know, and
it's a bit of a sore point, isn't it?
It is massively. Like, who'd have thought we'd see Leicester pick the cup up before Liverpool? You know, it's just,
I'm a Leicester fan, so I'm quite happy with that.
It's a nightmare, but hopefully in the next sort of like 12 weeks we'll see it. But
Dan, I've just pulled up this Ninja Warrior clip of yourself.
Okay.
We're just gonna run a little bit of it now, and I want you to talk us through, because I know Rich is well aware of this, but I've not seen it before.
That was probably. Basically, that there was like the closest feeling to competing in front of a home crowd in London.
I bet
this is a big crowd, isn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Well, there's your dog. Is that you still got that?
That's Elmo. Yeah, that's my guy dog.
So they didn't talk much about the visual impairment stuff there. So everybody's assuming that they're...
Yeah, well, they showed that on the telly. They showed an actual simulation of what I could see. Yeah. So which was vaguely accurate, to be fair.
Yeah.
When I jumped down onto that rope, I could not see that rope.
No, I was saying, because the first bit you do there, you're transitioning across different platforms.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
See, but that's peripheral, so that's all right.
Sorry, yeah.
You know what I mean?
Jesus, yeah.
Where then jumping at a rope, which is dead centre.
You nearly go there. I watched this last night. I absolutely loved it. But I remember watching it. I watched this on TV.
This next bit, I couldn't see this because it's down the middle, and I had bruised ribs for weeks. Honest to God.
Bosh, grab hold of that.
I nearly broke the bloody TikTok. It was good. It was just pure chest.
I mean, for anybody that's not seen this, there's an old ITV broadcast of Ninja Warrior. It came out about 2 years ago by the looks of it. But jump on there and then start asking yourself some real questions about what you can achieve.
Just click here.
It was I
bet it was a buzz. I bet that was a buzz.
Yeah, I was shaking. You know, and I fight for a living, and I'm shaking just because I need to jump on a ladder or something. I just thought,
yeah, but then again, you're so within your comfort area on a day-to-day basis. You know what I mean? Somebody trying to put you out there and position you against people that have all got such different physical talents.
Yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, you know, it was great, and like the thing is as well, like as I say, like I walk around at 85 kilos, and the lads who are good at that, I look like I've eaten them. You know, they're so small and skinny.
You look at the real high-level Ninja Warrior stuff, and these guys weigh nothing. You know what I mean?
They're like cats, aren't they?
They really, really are. And you see some of the training they do. They spend most of their life hanging off like a 1-inch block around their bloody entire house.
Gymnast in rock climbers.
Yeah,
most of them.
Yeah, they are. It's crazy.
Yeah, free runners as well. Yeah. Dan. Yeah, you said you just had a baby. Congratulations.
Cheers.
You look fantastic.
How was that?
I've bounced back pretty well.
You bounced really well, you know.
You
dad bods on it.
Your partner, Libby. Libby, is it?
Yeah.
She's also high level athlete.
She is. Yeah, she ain't too bad actually. She broke 2 world records in Rio in 2016.
Just the 2?
Yeah.
Oh, well, never mind.
She wasn't bad.
So is that two gold medals?
She got 2 gold medals in Rio. She's struggled a little bit since then with different things. But she's back into training now, fully. She's had injuries and whatnot.
And she's given birth to a baby.
Yeah,
which is a pretty huge transition in people's lives.
Personally, I just see that as training. It's just
conditioning.
It's just resistance training, isn't it? Really,
that's all it is. Yeah.
Way. But
I like to stir the pot where I can a little bit.
Yeah,
so
there you go.
There's you and your missus at home. Who's got the most impressive medal haul? Then?
Oh mate, it's by a long way. And you know what?
Are you allowed to bring yours out? Are they a bit like when your kid brings home ribbons for taking part? Are yours like that and hers are on the mantelpiece?
You know what? Quite the opposite.
Oh really?
I'm so proud at at my what I've achieved in my medals and whatnot. Where Livy is so much more reserved.
Really?
And I said to Livy only yesterday, I said because she got out all her Glasgow 2014 Commonwealth kit, because we've just moved house recently. She was like, "Oh, I'm gonna wash a bit of this. I might use it." And I was like, "Keep your presentation tracksuit. I want to frame that with your medal." And she was like,
"Damn right, yeah."
Because actually recently, as I say, we're moving house, and a friend of mine came and was sat at the table. And he's never met Libby before, and he was like, "Yeah, oh, does she do sport as well?" And I was like, hang on. There's a Commonwealth gold medal.
Yeah.
And he was like, "What?" And I was like, yeah, she's Commonwealth champion, Paralympic champion.
Now I think as a nation, we're not great at being proud of each other and acknowledging each other. But I do hear you as well that girls, and please bloody phone in, email in, everything, tell us that we're wrong, but girls have a tough time acknowledging each other's abilities. Sometimes I don't know if they're less. It's not that they're less proud.
Pete, you've opened up a
No, absolutely, mate.
I'm out.
I don't think they're less proud, but when they achieve such incredible things, guys are, with the big masculine ones who, high five each other. Yeah, in your face.
Yeah.
Whereas girls are so much more humble.
Yeah.
And they're honestly, half the time, they're definitely the smarter of the two of us. And there's some girls out there that have gone to some incredible lengths, as well as, raising families and stuff like that. But people such as your partner have gone on to achieve such great things. What do you think it is about, and maybe we asked Libby at some point, what is it about that not wanting to either acknowledge it or feel proud of it, or acknowledge each other? Because girls can be pretty bitchy as well.
Yeah, well, I think that is the main thing, to be honest. 'Cause, I know there's people where I'd put Libby right at the one end of the spectrum in terms of she's so humble. If I'd achieved what she'd achieved, I'd walk in every room and be like, "Do you know who I am?" I'd walk in Iceland.
Walk in Iceland.
Have I got to pay for
walking with your medal?
Yeah.
I'd be high-fiving people on the bus.
That's it. Have I got to pay for this leg of lamb? Are you joking? She's an MBE and all kinds.
Really? Oh, wow.
We'll get it on next week. So, just delete this one.
Yeah.
We'll start
just
again
warm up.
next
We were
week.
just testing the kit, to be honest.
Well, when Rich rang me the other day, I thought, he's going to ask for Libby in a minute.
He said, "Oh, is Libby there, please?" No? All right, well, you'll do that.
Yeah, so, going back to your question, I think,
Libby couldn't make it, Dan, so I had to...
That's it, she's busy today. But, I know some girls who have achieved, half what Libby's achieved, for example, and they're just, all over social media. And just look at me, I've done this, done that, and that. And, once again, they're great feats what these people are, so I think it's more just on their upbringing and stuff like that, really. It's just, and certain things, for me, say a bronze medal in a German Open, to me, I've achieved so much to get there, just because it's a reflection on my training and whatnot. However, other people would see that as oh, I've only got a bronze or something like that.
Yeah.
It just depends, the journey that it's took to get there as well.
Now, you said about being better than your brother, so let's just bring that up again first and
nice
foremost.
One,
Would you say, and this is a very difficult one, but there is a point
I'm
at
definitely
the end of it.
better at Libby than Judo.
Okay, good.
That's where you're going.
That's where I was going. No. What level did your dad compete at?
He was a Paralympian himself.
He was Paralympian.
Yeah, he got a... he won 88 in Seoul. He got a bronze in 96 in Atlanta. And he went to Sydney and actually tore his cartilage in the warm-up.
Yeah.
So he didn't compete that day.
Because the reason I asked, there's a book by a guy called Matthew Syed called Bounce. I don't know if you've ever read it.
Right.
And he became one of the best table tennis players in the world. But his brother was also one of the best players in the world. And a lot of what was said about the compound effect of practice is, and I don't know if it's the same with same with yourself. That's why I'm interested in asking. You had a dad that was a very high level competitor, and you've got a brother that's a very high level competitor. So unlike perhaps one of Rich's students or your students who will train twice a week, I don't know, 4 times, 5 times a week for an hour at a time, you, like this Matthew Syed guy, was living with another high-level competitor who's equally as ambitious and perhaps as competitive. So the compound effect of all of that training, your dad and everything he learned, passing it on to your brother who's older, to you. And it's always, I think, with younger siblings, you're always trying to be ahead of your years. You know, you want to be competing with your brother because he's a bit older. Oh, no, I'm just as strong as him. I'm just as good as him. And you've got that competitor living with you 24 hours a day.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you think that played a role in your development?
I think it does play the role in most people's development, to be fair. You know, I know a lot of judo players who are part of judo families, you know, whose mums or brothers or sisters or whatever have all been part of judo at some point.
Yeah.
However, I don't think it's the most useful thing at times either. Because I think, you know, with, say, being in a competitive family, you know, you've got that pressure then. You know, I see with my judo career, I see if I don't medal at games, you know, my brother's happy, he's retired, he's got a good job, he's done sort of thing with competitive sport. However,
he's given up. No, sorry.
Get that in.
Just says a lot about him, really, doesn't it? But, you know, with myself, I kind of, you know, I know this is bad, but I want to beat my dad. You know,
Damn right.
I want to get a silver or gold medal, or you know, or more medals than my dad as such. You know, the sport of judo has moved on massively since '88.
Yeah.
I don't remind me dad about that. Maybe he'll listen one day. But, but you know, like with that, for example, you know, I still want to do better. Yeah. You know, and
but that's healthy. Do you know what I mean?
It is, yeah. But then I've got my dad at home going to me. Oh, you know what? Oh, yeah, that was it. I got a silver medal at the World Championships, under 21s World Championships.
Yeah,
and it was one of my first big. It was my first big competition, and he went to me. He was like, "Why didn't you win it?" I rang him from Hungary. Yeah, and I was like, "Oh, how'd you get on?" Oh, I got silver. Why didn't you win it?
Good.
And I was like,
yeah.
You know.
You think that, like you say, you absolutely thought that then, and that's great. But I think what's more destructive than that, because some people will hear this and go, "Oh no, it's about the taking part, and we should just acknowledge our children for taking part."
We all know it's not about the taking part. We've had this discussion before, haven't we?
You know what I mean? Life, rightly or wrongly, yeah, we all need to show up and do our best.
Yeah.
But life rewards the winners, and I like to see that. When parents, and also even just close friends, you know, the things I enjoy about my friendship with Rich is the accountability aspect. We talk about accountability a lot. And if we've agreed something for the podcast or for another project or a piece of work, I expect and I look forward to Rich saying, "Where is it?" Do you know what I mean? Where is that piece of work, or where? And it usually goes the other way, to be fair, because I'll be up till stupid o'clock in the evening.
It's very true. I'm just about to jump in there.
But I love that. And as harsh as I am, I'll use the word harsh, as I am with anybody else, I want them to be at least as harsh with me, if not worse. Do you know what I mean? If I come back and go, "Oh, I've got X number of clients, or this promotion at work, or I'm going for that record at the minute," I want them to go, "Great, and what's next?"
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? I don't want somebody going, "Well done. Well, you know what? That was lovely. Now sit down and rest on your laurels."
You know, unfortunately, I have the opportunity to go in and do like talks to kids in schools and stuff, and it's one of the things I always start with, and I like start always right. So, you know, who's heard the phrase, "It's the taking part that counts," and the kids are like, "Yeah," and I'm like, "Sit down." I'm gonna tell you something.
Sit down. The Grinch is here.
I've got and
reality
the
just checked in.
Just go, "What's he just said?" You know, like, what is he doing?
I've got young kids. And some of them don't keep score.
I'd love to be there when that was said.
Yeah. Oh, mate, it's great. It's great. You get such a good reaction.
Yeah, but you'll be giving those kids such a kick up the arse, really, because mainline school, like, it is drilled into the children. It's all about. I mean, for God's sake, let's be honest now. All the kids they get medals and certificates for losing,
turning up to school,
for losing or just turning up.
Attendance,
and that's building some sort of society in the future that I don't even want to vision.
Yeah. You know what though? Yes, in the future,
scary.
But also now. You know, I mean, we talk about generations. We're all roughly the same age, but 5 years, 6, 7 years below us. That is where I see at the moment some of the scariest generation. And I blame the parents, you know, as we all do, because we had a generation of parents saying, "Just do your best. It's, you know, you're perfect the way you are. Just be good, and the world will be good to you," and all that sort of stuff. And they've set them up to fail, because when these people leave school and they go to work, and then they don't just get rewarded for showing up. Yeah, they get paid, but they don't get the promotion. They don't get the development just from showing up. the world isn't all sunshine and rainbows. You know what I mean? Everybody won't love you just for showing up.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we've set people up for that failure. So then when they've been in a job for 2 or 3 months and they go, I've not got a promotion, or I don't feel like I'm making a difference, because you've been conditioned that average, or that just enough, or that the minimum,
just to plod along,
is going to be fine.
The plodding.
It's not.
And
it's not going to be enough,
don't they?
I think a lot of that's come from like basically, just a complete lack of resilience.
Yeah,
there's just none. It's just, all it is nowadays is just like, as you say, it's just like, right, plod on. Yeah. And if you hit trouble, there's no adaptation there at all. It's just like, oh, I'm in trouble.
Yeah.
You put your hands up, and it's just like, oh, like with me going through school, for example, I as I said to you earlier, like, I was in mainstream school with visual impairment, with teachers who didn't understand what the hell was going on with me. So, they were like, oh, just sit near the board. And to me, that doesn't help at all. It doesn't matter how close I am to something. I still can't see it. But then at the same time, I'm just like, right, I've got to adapt here. I've got to do. So, but then at the same time, PE was always my best thing, my favourite thing to look forward to.
Yeah.
Just solely based on the fact I can adapt in PE. I can be fitter than people. I can chase people down before things have happened and stuff like that. So it's like, that's why sport for me has been and always will be such an important part of my life.
Yeah. So. But it teaches you to be able to be so resourceful. Do you know what I mean? I often speak to people, and I said it before on the podcast, about your resources versus your resourcefulness. Now, you are limited in one of your physical senses. Yeah. So it has trained you to become more resourceful in, like you said, about your judo, about your feel, about your physical perception, about your spatial awareness.
Definitely.
These have become enhanced, have become heightened, and you've also basically become a master problem solver, because you can't use the same tools as everybody else to get the outcome. It's like sending a builder to work. Every other builder's got buckets and shovels and everything like that. You've got to go, and you haven't got a hammer. So you're like, I've got to find something to achieve the same result, but I haven't got the same resources. So you get that master problem solver analogy.
It's like little simple things which are part of my life now. People are like blown away with, like say for example, like I'll go up to a train station and I can't see the sign like when the train's coming, so I'll take a picture of it on my phone and then zoom in on the picture.
That's awesome.
But then people are just like, oh my God. And it's just like, nah, this is just me just finding out what sign the train is, something like that. But there's loads of little tiny little, things like that. Which
whereas when we echo back to some of the younger people of today, they would come up to an issue like that and go, I can't get a train. Can't get a train. Oh, I've lost. It's game over. I'm just going to sit here and do nothing. You're like, hang on a minute.
Which is interesting. We talked about adapting again, didn't we? And you did transition from judo for a bit, didn't you? You went to running.
That's right.
On the track. Yeah. Now, talk to me about that. What distance was that? And how does that work?
Well, it was like I went into 100 and 200 meter running. The reason behind that was I had enough of getting thrown around for a living. And
squash.
Literally, like I was still young. I was 21, as I say, when I competed at the games, and then I finished 7th at the games, and then I came. Basically in 2013 I got medals in every major the next year, but I just weren't in love with the sport. I was just like, I'm done here, I've had enough, my body's hurting. So I went home, went back to Liverpool and thought, you know what, I'm doing what every lad does. I'm going Cavos, I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I did it all in about 4 or 5 weeks.
Really?
I just went away with my mates and just did and got
had it large.
You know what it's like. And then just thought, I don't want to
How did you find that? Just, I know we go off for a little bit. Not like how was all the
it was all right,
drink all the drugs or whatever, but was it what you thought it was? As in,
you know what? I don't know how people do it. I don't know how people do it like as a yearly or like every week thing. Because like to me it was like I used to go out for a drink and whatnot, and every so often have a pizza. But I'd live like a such a regimented life. It was training 10 o'clock every morning till 12, then 2 till 4, and then some nights 8 till 10. At night every day, Monday to Friday, and then Saturday, Sunday. Jesus, you didn't want to do anything. So you were waiting for Monday. So it was like and then like I hit it in Liverpool big time. But then after that, I was like, I'm not going back to judo. I don't want to do it. So I was like, in me, I've got like a competitive buzz. I need to, So I was like,
I'm looking forward to tomorrow, by the way. Sorry, just carry on. I'm gonna get hurt. I know.
I was like, because I can't drive. I was like, right, what can I get to on a bus route? And the only thing I could get to was the gym or the athletics club, Liverpool Harriers Athletics Club. So I just turned up and I was like, look, I can't see very well, but I'm all right.
But I'm a fucking machine.
Yeah,
so
and
just point me in the right direction and press play.
That's it. I'll have a go. So I started running, and next thing, like the Paralympic sort of running person from Loughborough turned up for like a scouting thing. And they were like, yeah, you're quite good, come to this race in Bedford. And I turned up, and I'd blind problem again. Actually ended up going into the 400 metres instead of the 2. I was like, fuck me, that's far. That's far.
Yeah, is 200 metres different in this area? Who measured the damn track?
Yeah, because it's a long 2. And I was just like, so I was like,
how did that actually happen? Tell us more about that.
You knew that before you actually competed, didn't you?
No.
So what? You're just about.
Oh, it was like literally. They were like, 200.
Ladies and gentlemen, here we are for the 400 in lane 3.
Hey, I was just like, oh mate, I did it once. I was fighting in the European Championships, and then they were like, Powell blue, such and such as Nagasaki white, and I was like, hey,
who?
And they were like, yeah, you're fighting the lad from Japan. I was like, it's not in Europe, is it? And they were like, you're at the World Championships. I was like, that was a big weight cut. I was like, what? My head had gone and everything. But yeah, so with the 400, I filled in the form badly, which, blind problems.
I mean, we could go into so much depth here. Reading and writing, is that you can? Obviously
I'm terrible at it.
You're just terrible at
it. I can't read my own writing back. It doesn't matter how big I write it. Yeah. So I try to just record everything on my phone if I need to keep a note.
I was going to say, because if you are completely blind, obviously society adapted a long time ago with Braille and things like that.
Yeah.
But for somebody in we'll call it the middle, without causing offence, there's no. People expect you to live in both parts of society.
Yeah, totally.
Can you read Braille? Just out of curiosity?
Nah.
No, you never needed to, never tried to.
Braille's dead now, to be honest. It's like the thing is with like phones and technology and everything nowadays, I could take a picture of most things, and there's technology out there now that go,
just read it to you.
Bloke sat in front of you. Aged 40s,
I hope he's looking at you.
Mid-40s, slightly overweight, and it'll,
can't run.
And it'll just tell you, this, that, and the other, which is great. And it's a race between technology and genetics nowadays on who's going to fix my eyes first. Yeah. And I'm open in my lifetime.
Would you be open to that? You would.
I'll just go for it. My eyes can't get much worse, so they might as well have a dig around to see what they can do.
So I mean, laser eye surgery can't be a million miles away from that stuff, is it? I don't know.
They can't.
It must be out there. They're growing stem cells, and people are.
They're growing all kinds, aren't they? They're growing bloody Tyrannosaurus Rexes somewhere. Let's be honest. So
people that have been paralysed as well all of their life, they're injecting. I'm going to get this all wrong. I'm sure I will.
Stem cells.
They're injecting stem cells into the spine and getting growth hormone from all sorts of different animals and beings, and you're like. When people talk about, just go off on a tiny little tangent, when people talk about hip replacements and knee replacement, my mum has got terrible knees. You get new knees in the last year, correct me if I'm wrong, 5 or 10 years, one of the two. So they say to you, don't get them yet because you're too young. You're too young. You don't get them now because you have to get them replaced. And I'm like, BS. Do you know what? Don't buy that, because not he, no, her, anybody is not going to know what medical science is going to be doing in 10 years. Yeah. If you'd have asked the scientists and the medical practitioners of 10 years ago, hey, would we be, bringing back people from paraplegics, from paralyzed people? Would we be doing that? No, never. Never going to do it. You can't walk, that's it. That's what they'd be telling you. So if you've got something and someone says it's only going to last 10 years, go for it. Because also, do you want to be healthy, Rich? You turn 40 today.
Here we go.
Do you want to be healthy from 40 to 50? Or do you want to be healthy from 60 to 70? Do you know what I mean?
I'm looking forward to being healthy from 30 to 40.
When your kids, are young, that's when you want that, isn't it?
The thing is with stuff like that, you got to live for today, haven't you?
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
It's as simple as that. So if you're in pain or whatever, or you got a solution, you got to take it.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Why wait?
Sorry,
Why would you wait?
We jumped right off it there. You were filling in your 400 form.
Oh,
completely wrong.
Totally. So filled that in. Thought put my name down for the 1 and the 2. Turned out to be the 2 and the 4, which is that's still just outrageous. 600 meters of sprinting, and
nobody sprints for 400 meters. Surely, I honestly think sprinting finishes at 200 meters.
Yeah, that's it. It should do.
400 meters.
It should finish at about 180. Actually, to be honest, I think that's about the limit. But I turned up, and then I was like, and they were like, "Oh yeah, like what are you doing a 4 for the first time?" And I was like, hey. And like the butterflies started going, then I was just like, no way, like why am I doing this? So I turned up, and then I ran a time which put me 5th in Europe, or was it 4th?
Jesus.
No, I was 4th in Europe. There was just a couple of Russians and a French lad in front of me on the world ranking.
Really?
And I
Wow.
was just like,
Bloody
"It's
Russians.
all right." Yeah,
Bloody
bloody Russians.
Doping again, obviously.
Yeah, 100%.
At that age.
That's it. Yeah. Well, you know, like I was just.
Was there an element of you when you realised you got it wrong, and like you were just saying there, you felt a bit, oh jeez, I'm embarrassed, I'm a bit annoyed.
Yeah.
Have you? Because I'm sure you have. Maybe when you were younger. Obviously, you're very self-confident now. But was there a time when you were, you know, I daren't say anything because I just feel bloody stupid,
Definitely.
and people will go, can't you see? Can't you this? Can't you that? And was there an aspect of that where you thought, I'm not going to raise my hand? Have you had much of that in your life? Because
You
your
know
brother's
what?
visually impaired and your dad, so
Yeah, there's been so many times when you know, especially sort of like, you know, knowing like going out with girls and stuff like that when I was younger. You know, when
Yeah.
you're like 16, 17, you know, you're quite sort of you know, conscious, aren't you? Of
Yeah,
how you're looking
massively,
so I'm like that. I'm
massively.
taking girls out, you know, slap up Harvester or whatnot. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like it's big in Liverpool. That. You know, you're taking girls out for, you know, I'm talking 2 courses here.
where's he going? 2 courses.
Yeah, that's it.
Harvester.
Yeah,
Not
you know,
playing
I'm
about this one.
Free salad bowl. That's
Yeah,
one of the courses.
have as much as you like.
That's the
That's
perk.
it,
Have
yeah.
as much
perk.
as you like.
Tell you, but you know, like you take a girl out and they're like, "Oh, what are you gonna have?" And I'm like that, like I can't see the menu. I'm leaning back in my chair.
What's
like,
the best thing? I'll tell you what. Let's ask the waitress because
Yeah.
she always picks something good.
my line always used to be, it was like, "What do you recommend? What do you recommend? Oh, do you like spicy food? No. Do you like burgers? No.
You don't like spice? We're in Nando's, so
That's it. Do you like chicken?
Really?
No. Yeah, it's just, you know, or like sometimes I remember once, this was the worst one. Sat in the display and like this girl went, "Do you know what you want?" And I'm like, I can't really decide. It was TGI's actually. I sat there and I was like, I don't know, you know. And she was like, "You know, you got the menu upside down, don't you?"
oh Jesus!
I was like, right, this is the point where I need to tell her I can't bloody see. You know.
But you did feel you were conscious of it though. What age were you when
totally.
you were like?
You know what?
know what,
I was
ram it.
probably only about. It was probably only a few years ago. It was probably
Really?
yeah.
This old?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was like, well, I got a guide dog about 3 years ago, and that was
Okay.
like my point where I just went, "Fuck it, I'm blind now. I
Yeah.
need a bit of help." You know, because I was just so sort of like resilient and dead cut on like, right, I'm normal. I'm normal.
Yeah.
And it actually, you know what? It was probably London 2012 that changed it for me. Thinking about it, seeing so many people and how they, you know, interact and how they sort of get on with life. You know, I seen a guy in the village in London 2012
Yeah.
with no arms, and he was eating noodles with his feet with chopsticks. And I was like, I'm not moaning again now.
Yeah. I
You know
need
what
to get
I
over
mean?
myself.
That's it.
Do you know what I mean?
100%. You know, if you see things like that, if you see like people just cracking on,
Oh, I love it.
you know what
Absolutely.
I mean? It's just like,
I find it so goddamn inspiring because myself and Rich. I mean, obviously Rich is overweight, but other than that, we're both.
He loves the dig, doesn't
We're
he?
both, we're both quite healthy individuals, and when we have our bad days and we have our little issues to come over,
yeah.
and then you hear about, we spoke about a local.
He's getting choked out tomorrow, by the way.
That's before you even get here. We spoke about a local charity that some of us have done work before, Rainbows, where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
support end of life care. And, you know, when you go to places like that, or when you see people that are really facing genuine adversity, not I've got a hiccup with my business, or I've pulled my shoulder last week. My kid's born with a cleft palate, or visually impaired,
Yeah.
or my family member's got a life-ending disease, and you think, Jesus, get over yourself. How dare you moan about your current condition?
The biggest thing, like my dad always taught us, he always said this, he was just like, there's always someone worse off.
Yeah.
There's always, you know, you come home from school and like, you know, my brother, definitely more than me, but you know, people would turn around to my brother and be like, "Oh, you blind bastard," and then you know,
would that make you feel like, oh, I'm not going to say I'm the same, because they're like bloody
a bit, but it also made me a naughty kid because
Really?
I go in and start picking on the bullies. Who
yeah.
were bullying my brother. Like, I remember the first day of secondary
brother's
school.
older?
Yeah, it was bad.
Oh,
I was horrible.
wow.
But there was like the first day of secondary school to me, someone turned around to me and went, "Oh, you gozzy." That's what they called me, gozzy.
Gozzy?
I know, it's stupid, isn't it? And I
I don't even know what the reference is there.
I don't.
Okay.
I just grabbed this kid by his hood, pulled his hood over his head, and just started punching until it felt his hood.
A few uppercuts.
Yeah, and
Can't
just-
see you, but it feels like it's hurting.
And then like next thing, I can feel his hood, and I'm just hitting a hood now because he's flopped.
Yeah.
You know, but
I'm just trying to think, guys, that must be a Liverpool
think
thing.
it
I've
must
not
be.
heard that
Goz.
from it.
Nah,
I don't know if it comes from a character or I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
no idea. But you know, it touched the nerve anyway.
was there anything different about because I'm trying to place my head in that mindset where if a child, we spoke about a child, say, having a cleft palate when they're born. Now, if they've got parents that are both without any physical disfigurement or anything like that, for their parent to go, little Johnny, it doesn't matter, it's okay. And the little Johnny can rightfully go, you ain't got a clue.
Yeah.
You've never had to do this. But did your dad ever have moments where he was like, no, Dan, it's fine. And you couldn't go, oh, you ain't got a clue, Dad, because he did. And he's gone through the same thing, and he's obviously made it to an adult. He's managed to find a partner and stuff like that. Were there moments at all when you were like, did your dad inspire you, or did he make you feel worse because he was I don't know.
Yeah, not really as such. I've kind of always, with my dad especially, I've always kind of like used my dad as the base mark, and like I'm not always trying to better my dad as such, but I'm trying to, with today's sort of technologies and whatnot, I'm definitely more savvy. With finding problems and stuff. So like, my dad's got like his missus is like my mum.
His missus. I love that.
Like my mum.
Love you, mum. Love you.
Yeah, like she's that's terrible, isn't it?
Dad, where's the missus? You mean your mother? I wish you wouldn't call her that.
Where's Shelley? My mum, and they did it again then. Like my mum, she's fully sighted, so my dad's always had that.
Is she really smug about it as well?
Oh yeah, 25% of this household can see. It's like, but it's
I love that.
It's what so my dad's always had my mum to fall back on with. As I said earlier, like my missus, she's visually impaired as well.
Oh, is she?
Yeah, and we understand each other's problems, and we understand how to get over them problems and whatnot. So it's like,
what's her impairment to a? Is it graded? Is there a level or?
There is in sport. Yeah, she's similar to me.
Mm-hmm.
She can see a little bit better than me, but it is similar. She doesn't rub it in.
No.
She's all.
I always thought it must be. I don't know anything about how they grade disabilities in the Paralympics, but sometimes you're watching swimming or something, and you're like, how are they the same?
Yeah, I know.
Do you know
totally.
what I mean?
That also
in yours, it's fairly.
It's easy. Yeah.
You get it. You see it.
Well,
just
With them,
thinking,
you're like, how is that fair?
That also has brought up another question. So when you're competing, are you competing against people with visual impairments, or are you competing against could have any?
It's just visual impairment.
Right.
So like nationally and smaller competitions, like we all fight. The visually impaired lads, we'll all fight. Mainstream people, 100%. Like I won the mainstream AJA British Championships.
Oh, that's fantastic!
Which is cool.
That's awesome.
I won that a couple of years ago.
I hope you were holding your dog on the thing, because everyone's like,
podium.
I won.
100%.
The dude with the dog beat you. He beat all of you.
Yeah.
How good is that guy?
No, I did. I actually
love
did.
that.
I walked to the podium with Elmo.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That was a genuine.
Yeah.
I didn't know you did that.
And then,
that is fantastic.
but
Everyone else must have felt like,
that's it.
Jesus Christ.
But then in the actual Paralympic
How
Games,
cool is that?
That is great, isn't it? You'd think he was taking the mick, wouldn't you? That is great.
It was, in the actual Paralympic Games, you're just visually impaired. So it's like, because judo would say people with no legs would be different.
Yeah.
It'd be very much different. But in terms of like in terms of sport that goes from the Olympics to the Paralympics, it is so similar is judo. Because basically the only difference, the only difference is like in mainstream Olympic judo, you're about 2 meters apart, and then the referee shouts at Jimmy, which means go, and then you start having a scrap.
And then you make contact.
Yeah. Where in Paralympic sport, you start on the grip.
So it's irrelevant, almost. Not irrelevant, but
Yeah, 100%. But then the referee shouts at Jimmy, and you're already connected. And it's the thing with Paralympic sport like that, with visually impaired judo, you have to be so much fitter. Yeah. Because your arms are on. Where like in Olympic sport, you can shake your arms
and
off,
release and just sort of
have a little wave
position,
around a bit, and do your big circle back to
have
your
a little
line.
breather,
With Paralympic sport, the referee's grabbing hold of you, pulling you back together, and going go, and you're just like your arms. We do a lot of training. If
you let go, do they reset you then?
Yeah.
All right.
Or if you go out the area, but then
are we gonna have to wear pajamas tomorrow?
No, what I said to everybody was we're gonna. I've got you covered, Pete. Don't worry. We've got you covered. No, we're doing no gis tomorrow, but we're gonna bring a gi top in as well. So we're gonna have a little play with both.
Magic.
So
I'd enjoy that.
Yeah, we'll have a little play with both.
I'll say that now. Ask me tomorrow.
You'll be fine.
Awesome.
You won't.
But yeah.
So how do athletes at your level, because you train professionally, that's your job, if we call it that. How do athletes make a living? at doing that sort of stuff?
Well, this is the thing.
So it must be brutal. I'm not asking any
Yeah.
really personal questions there, but I know some of the lads at Loughborough University and
Yeah.
they're on bursaries and all this sort of stuff. They belong to a body that sort of helps them with an income, but you say you sort of do work at a gym, or
Yeah, totally. So obviously with the more sort of sexy sports, let's say, like athletics or swimming or cycling, things like that.
Yeah.
Judo is a little bit sort of less known. So like,
which is crazy because it's been around. Like we were saying about the Olympics, it's one of the
So
first sports.
like I get paid by a government body, but I don't get paid enough to pay my mortgage, or pay for me little boy or whatnot. So, like I literally I work for a living. I'm a PT. I've got my own little gym in Leicester.
Cool.
And things like that, and I'm a sports massage therapist as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I fit in all these things around me training. So which works for me. And like the missus, as I say, like with her being in a more sort of sexy sport and also being a hell of a lot more successful. She was been on Dancing on Ice this year.
I was about to say she was on television.
Yeah.
I know, you told me just before we started. I was like, what?
Yeah, so she did really, really well, to be fair. She she got to the final with Joe Swash and Perry from Diversity. It was, yeah. So she did really, really well. She got all the way to the final, like, so.
I suppose that must have been huge as well, because obviously
it was. She was the first sort of Paralympian disabled person on the ice.
Yeah, and especially something that is such a mobile sport, if that makes sense. You're in such a foreign environment. Definitely. Because you're on ice.
Yeah.
And obviously she's doing a series of movements detached and attached to a partner.
Yeah.
There's so many things going into
play there. We'll definitely get Libby on.
100%.
We'll speak to Libby. We'll get her on.
You'll have to get one of her videos up, because one of the things that I think it was the second or third to last week, she did her solo skate, and I was there in the studio with her when she was doing all her practicing and stuff. And she was, and every time she stacked it, she just went down every time. And honest to God, like the night of the show, all the crowd are coming in, and then Philip Schofield's like, next on the ice doing a solo skate, Libby Clegg, and I'm just there, and I'm like, no, just like and even ITV turned around and said, you can pull out of this if you want, it's a bridge too far, and she absolutely smashed it. And it's just that's another athlete thing, put the pressure on, and you're laughing.
Proud moment though as well, isn't it?
Mate,
watching.
Never been more proud of her. I was just like, I'm getting goosebumps now just thinking about it again. It's like, it's one of them moments. Yeah. So
let's have a quick look at Libby. We've got Libby, Clegg, and Mark Hanretty. And when they were doing their side of it.
I've not seen this. Yeah, let's have a look.
Yeah, she absolutely aced it, to be fair. Which one have you gone for?
No idea.
Team 2020 now, and even though learning to skate,
I do like a bit of Holly.
She's no stranger.
She's even better in person, honestly.
But nothing to compare to your lovely wife, of course.
Of course,
doesn't hold a candle to her.
She's at least an 8 out of 10.
So how much of this took out of your life, if you know what I mean? How much of an imposition? I say imposition,
absolutely
but swallowed
killed
it.
me. Yeah. So from like sort of January when the show started all the way through till sort of beginning of March, it just ruined us, because I was cutting, competing, going out to Georgia, looking after the baby, working, and doing all that.
She's way out of your league, by the way. I'm just looking at Libby.
She can't see me, so she doesn't.
What do you look like, Dan? I'm bloody really handsome, Libby. All right, don't you worry about it.
6'2". Gorgeous, tanned.
So what were the things that she found most difficult about it? And don't say obviously she couldn't see what she was doing, because she's had that all her life.
Yeah, to be fair, when she first started, she didn't. It was more like her dance partner there, Mark, was trying to teach her how to sort of move with, where like he'd go like, okay, yeah, look at me, I'm doing this, da 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 da, and they'd have to copy. Where she'd be more like, you've got to move my body here. So it had to just become a little bit more tactile. Yeah. Which for some fellas, that wouldn't be happening.
No,
he's not a bad looking lad, is he? And I would have been a bit like, hang on, mate, don't touch me, missus.
To be fair, I think they do look like a better couple.
They do. Yeah, I agree. There's definitely some days I agree.
Maybe we should have Libby and Mark on. I mean,
I'll be honest with you. He's only from Nottingham.
Is he?
Yeah.
Fairly local lad, then. I'm joking. But you were saying just before we put this on that she was so nervous coming up to the, because she couldn't nail it, or she couldn't finish the piece or the landings or whatever they were.
Yeah. So which one have we got here?
I'm not sure.
Not sure.
What song is it?
I don't know.
Oh, it's a good one. This was week 1.
Wasn't it?
Well done, Libby.
Oh, they didn't even show it all. Oh, they just whizzed through it.
Well, it's not Libby's show anyway, so we'll have to skip past that.
But yeah, no, she did really, really well. You know, she did amazingly well. To be fair, I was so proud of her. As I say, it was like the biggest buzz for me than like watching it like the Rio Games. You know,
Really?
Like, I remember watching it at Rio Games and thinking, come on. And then, but I was the same. Like, you know, watching it like live there, I was just a bit like, what's going to happen here, sort of thing, because like it's not her territory either, slipping around on the ice.
I love what you said about when Mark had to move her physically and learn a different way of teaching. Now you're a personal trainer and you're also you do massage and obviously you coach.
Yeah.
With obviously your great skills in judo and stuff like that.
Yeah.
How do you think that differentiates you between other coaches? Because like you've just been saying, you have to feel it a lot more than anybody else. Do you think that, because I think that probably gives you a massive advantage, or you've talked about being resourceful, that's forced you to become so much more attuned to things because you don't have the vision.
You know what, like there's like I've worked in gyms now for quite a while, and there's a gym just down the road that the clients used to refer to me as Eagle Eye, because I'd be like, even though I can't see, I'd be like just watching someone's body move in a way, and you'd be like, they're not activating this or doing that or doing that, you know, and like you think audibly, you know, you can talk to people and talk them through such a movement. Like, for example, if I said to a completely blind, and this is how I thought about it, if I've spoken to a completely blind person and said, right, mate, you're going to do a burpee, and then they've never seen or heard what a burpee is before, you know, they'll just look at me like an absolute plank. But then, like, you know, if you describe to them, you know, right, you're going to put your hands on the floor, jump out, it's like squatting. I described the squatting as like, imagine taking a shit off a cliff. Yeah, you know, you don't want to.
Beautiful. Yeah, because you do. Bum goes back, bum comes forward. You 100%. Know, don't let your shoulders go over your knees. Yeah, sit. Your bum goes back.
But if you just go, look, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah, I want you to bend down.
You know what I'm doing.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Absolutely.
So, it's as a coach, it's helped me. I understand like much differently, and I explain a lot differently and describe. So,
like what you're explaining and describing there is absolutely it. Someone said to me a long time ago, when you're trying to explain something, you should, no matter the complexity of it, Einstein could sit here and explain physics to a 3-year-old because they understand it so well. And I always say to people, you'll only truly know something if you can explain it to one of your kids. If you can explain it to a child, you should be able to. Otherwise, honestly, you don't fully understand the whole sort of complex matter of it.
Yeah. I remember, I can't remember what it were now, Dan, but you sent someone my way, didn't you? I forgot the guy's name now. I feel awful. He was blind. Do you remember his name? Young lad, Kieran. Yeah. Kieran, that was it. And that was interesting for me because that was the first time me coaching. One, someone who's never done anything like this before. Yeah. And two, he, again, I don't know what level his vision was at, but he literally couldn't see it, couldn't see a thing. And that opened my eyes up of how I spoke to him, how I used to have to. In fact, I remember ringing you, actually.
Yeah,
I rang you to say, I've got this guy coming down. We'll be doing this, and that. How do I physically coach him? I remember having that conversation with you.
It's just you've got to know certain ways because I think nowadays as well you've got to be like inclusive to everyone's needs as well. Like when it comes to the fitness industry, there's so many people's needs out there.
I think you need to be overly inclusive because with most people they can turn up, but they've got to be fairly brave to even turn up. And we're talking a normal everyday person, fully sighted, fully everything. Yeah. They turn up, they're still going to be nervous. Yeah, we all probably have clients who go, oh God, I'm a bit overweight and I'm a bit ashamed. I don't want to turn up. And then they turn up and they're a bit nervous. Somebody that's then got the added fear, anxiety, frustration, embarrassment around having a physical disability. They've got 1 foot, 1 leg, 1 arm. They're partially sighted. You've got to meet them with a tremendous amount of you've just said inclusivity, of enthusiasm, of engagement, of openness, to be able to sort of fan that flame of interest. Otherwise, they, more than anybody, are going to so quickly shut off. Because for every one partially sighted or completely blind person that comes to the gym, there must be thousands. There must be thousands of people who go, I'm not going to go down there for people to laugh at me. Yeah. For somebody to lean forward and go, excuse me, can't you see?
Yeah.
And you go, no, I bloody can't.
Even in my position where, I'll be, say lifting weights which are deemed as like decent sized weights and stuff like that. Yeah. And I'm picking.
We'll show you what they are, Rich.
Yeah. Like say I'll walk over to a dumbbell rack and I'll like be looking at a dumbbell like as close as you'd hold an ant to your face, I suppose, in normal people. Yeah.
For everyone that holds ants to their face on a regular basis.
You know what I mean?
You know what I mean?
So, but like, I've had gym instructors turn around to me and go, "What do the weights smell like, mate?" And, you know, it's just like, can't see you, prick.
So when they, so when they regain consciousness, how do you have that conversation with them?
That's it. But then, like, the trouble is sometimes, because of that sort of situation, I'm talking years ago now, I still go to a bog standard gym, say in Loughborough, and I'll just pick up 2 weights and be like, yeah, they'll do. And next thing,
I bet you can go and guess what they are as well. You know, I love that. Your sense of feel.
Well, sometimes I mention
like
a 28 and a 24, and I'm like, that's good. Yeah, you know, I'm just bouncing out here. And, you know, people must be looking at me like I'm a nutter. You know, just like, just complex training, mate. Yeah. Just,
I don't think we mentioned this today, but I had you down here teaching my guys for quite some time, didn't I?
Yeah.
And I don't think we ever told them that you was visually impaired, did we?
Just really?
Turned up in.
So there'll be people hearing this who were like, no, that's not Dan that taught me, because that dude could see, because he was always this, he was always that.
Possibly, because I'm sure you would have told some people, but I don't think we threw it out there. We just let you crack on, and that was a testament to your skill level, because you was rolling with everyone as well, weren't you?
Yeah, it was good fun. You know, it's as I say, like it's one of the things, like totally going back to right at the beginning. It's one of them things where you either, you know, you take it as an excuse and let your disability live by you, or you know, you just get on with it. Yeah. So, like, you know, there's so many people out there who their disability owns them. Yeah. You know, and it's just like, I'm a disabled person.
And
get out of my way.
And they almost introduce it like it's.
Hi, I'm blind. I'm Dan. I'm blind. I'm Dan. I'm blind.
Yeah, you know? Exactly.
I'm blind.
Everybody, this is Dan. Just be patient with him because he can't see. Well, hang on a minute. Well, you've not even seen me teach.
No,
we go,
that's it.
The same way that if someone's a great communicator, you've demonstrated today you're a great communicator. You've got a great ability to build rapport with people quickly. I know lots of perfectly physically able and everything able coaches who can't build rapport, who can't communicate effectively.
I only said it this morning.
Articulate the skill sets.
I only said it this morning in the gym. I said, you know, with clients, it's 50% training. When you've got clients, it's like 50% training, and then the other 50% is making sure they leave with a smile on the face.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
You know, just
that's the biggest part of it, isn't it? As long as everyone leaves happy and 100%. Enjoys the training. You're going to come back, aren't they?
It shouldn't be a chore. It shouldn't feel like a labour.
No, definitely.
Dan, that's been massively eye-opening. I can't wait to get in the raps.
Nice one.
At least that's for one of us. Sorry, you got to keep doing that. Yeah. You said it a minute ago. I thought you were doing a pun, Rich. You're like, it really opened my eyes to a thing. I was like, dude, is that?
He's playing like bingo here or something. See how many eye puns you can get in. So insightful.
Yeah, it's so insightful. Honestly.
No, Dan, it's been absolutely fantastic. I really appreciate you coming down, and hopefully we'll catch up again soon, but more importantly, I think we're going to give your missus a call and get your missus on.
To get the missus on.
Yeah, definitely.
100%.
Thank you for today, brother. Take care.
Oh, good fun.
Awesome.
I feel like I got good fun, actually.
It is. It's a right screen. Thanks for checking out the Firefighters Podcast this week. Make sure you check out the YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram pages, keeping yourself up to date with the latest podcast as it comes out. We'll see you guys soon. How to get firefighter fit in 30 days. Rich, who is this course for?
This course is for people who want to generally change their lives. We are going to educate, we're going to inspire, and we're going to motivate people. We're going to take people to a place where it's easy to understand. We're going to give them a step-by-step guide, and we're going to transform people's lives.
Absolutely. You heard it here first, folks. So if you have ever lost that confidence, if you don't feel brave enough to step back out onto that gym floor, and you don't even want to think about attending that class, then this course is for you. This course is going to empower you with the skills, knowledge, and mental leverage to then lead yourself through easy to follow everyday workouts straight off the back of this 30-day course.
We promise to educate you, inspire, and motivate you. We're going to take you to a place where you're going to see amazing body transformation, both physically and mentally.
We've got every single corner covered. In this course, you will find your workouts, you'll find your warm-ups, you will find your stretching. You'll know how to track your own measurements so that as you improve, you can physically see the change in your body. This is pitched at the absolute beginner, so no matter if you've never stepped foot in the gym before, you can complete this course.